Hello, hello. Welcome to Coffee Talk Tuesday. My name is Chalese Stevens, and I'm here with a substitute co-host. And let's be honest, I mean, way better. I'm just kidding, Trip.
No, it's fair.
It's fair.
Yeah.
This is Chris Gillam.
I accept it.
He's normally our sound guy, but I roped him into doing this one with me because Trip is in Cancun.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's all awesome and everything.
I think he's on his 4th honeymoon now.
Right?
Yeah.
They just keep taking honeymoons.
It's the same wife.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's only been, what, a year?
Yeah.
Oh, well, our guest today is the incredible Yuri Williams. Yuri, you have been such an inspiration to me and the things that I'm doing as well. And I remember when I met you, you actually came to my first heart kid, Trey. I'm sure you remember Trey.
Yeah.
And you were here in Salt Lake, and you came and did this whole awesome thing for him. And as soon as I found that out, I contacted you, and we've been in touch ever since. And then you came and surprised us last year, almost exactly a year ago, for my kids to sign another Heart Kids poster that we made, and also surprised my little boy because he loves Spiderman.
Right. That was fun.
Thank you so much for joining us today on our show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Yuri, tell us what's your story? Why are you doing what you're doing? And tell our guests or our audience, I mean, exactly what it is that you do.
I'm doing this to honor my mother for raising me, to be a giving and loving person. And what I do is I dress up as superheroes and visit children, homeless, veterans, elderly, schools to go speak, and just anywhere I can go and uplift somebody. That's where I am.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
So what is the story of your mother? She passed away, correct?
Yes. She had cancer for an 8-year period, and it was like after she passed away, I just lost myself probably for a good 5 years. I'll be talking to you like this, and then just go home and would be crying in tears, and one day I just said, I can't keep living like this. And that's when I decided to come up with my nonprofit.
That's so great. And what inspired you to do the superhero?
Well, Spiderman was always one of my favorite characters. I used to collect comic books and video games and, baseball cards, basketball cards. But Spiderman was really like one of my heroes. And I used to watch Mr. Rogers, and, I would take all of these different things and sponge them together. And then I just created who I am today.
Did you already have the Spider-Man suit in your closet? Is that why you chose that?
No, I had to buy that one. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I love I'm a geek. That's a side of me that not everybody he sees it.
I'm shocked.
But Spider-Man is my favorite too, because I think we connected as well because of my story is losing my little boy and his love for Spider-Man, and so that's another reason why it's been fun to watch you and see Spider-Man literally come to life and make such a difference in so many people's worlds.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
So where are you located right now?
Well, I'm in Long Beach, California.
Long Beach, California. How has it been with the whole pandemic and everything that's been going on right now and there? Like, how has that affected you and what you've been doing?
I mean, it doesn't stop me from doing what I do. I can't do some of the things, like I can't visit the hospitals and, I can't go to the elderly homes, but, I'm still able to visit people, get groceries for the elderly, drop them on their porch. We just did a STEAM and Art Kits giveaway where we created a bag and we took it over to the kid's house and let them take a picture, 6 feet away. I'm not able to hug these kids like I usually am, but, I've just been able to adapt and, just continue to do what I do, but just in a different way.
Right. It's convenient that you have a mask on already, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So nobody can say, oh, where's your mask? Where's your mask? It's already on,
Well, what is one of your favorite stories that you have to share?
Man, so many. Let me see. You know what? This one when we did I think this was the first tour. We went to Phoenix Hospital, Children's Hospital, and there was a kid there. He's Down syndrome, and his dad. They were releasing him that day, and I had my outfit on, and we were about to leave, and his dad said he had been there since 8 o'clock. You know, he didn't want to leave. I guess he was just loving the facility or whatever, and he didn't want to leave. So I sat there and talked to him for a good, 30 minutes and told him, your dad go get you some ice cream. If you come with me to the car, I'll walk you to the car. And I was able to walk him, get him in the elevator. I held his hand all the way down, put his seatbelt on, and, I waved to him, gave him a high five. And his dad wrote me a message like probably an hour later, thanking me for, helping him to get his son to go home. And that was like I just felt like a real hero because I was there at the right time to save the day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you were in Phoenix at that time, and last year, or was it 2 years ago that you did the tour all around America?
Yeah, the first one was 2 years ago, and then we just did one this past December also.
Right. That's right. So were you able to hit all 50 states?
Oh yeah, both times, yes. This last one was for homeless and ill children. So what we did was we found every state we would find a homeless person and ask them what they, tell us your story and ask them what they would want for Christmas. So, there was people asking for hotel stays. A guy wanted a bus ride home. Guys wanted food cards. And, we would say, we'll get this for you and we come back, and you could just see in their eyes, like they've probably been told millions of times somebody say, I'm going to come back, and
Sure.
the videos and all the stuff that we documented there, and you could see these people's reaction. Like this guy, we gave him a bus ticket and he was just cussing up a storm because he was just so excited, that we were able to give him a bus ticket back to New York. And he was in, I believe, Wisconsin, and it was like freezing that day. The snow was coming down and everything. And that was the first time I ever saw snow. And this guy was sleeping outside in the snow just with his sleeping bag, and I'm just glad we were able to get him off the streets,
That's really great.
Yeah.
Wow. So what state is your favorite state that you were able to visit?
I got so many, but I'm going to give you 5. I'll say Denver will be number 1, Utah, New Mexico, Boston, and Hawaii.
Ah.
You just did the thing that bands do, the musicians do when they tour. You call them out for the city. This is the best city I've ever been in.
Right?
This is the best crowd.
Yeah, all right.
He rocks like you do.
Oh, man.
Well, he did put Utah there, so
See?
Of course. See?
I mean, it was behind Denver, but that's okay.
That's
Denver
fine.
is pretty cool.
I actually I haven't been to all 50 states. I've been to, I think, half of them. I think I'm up to 25 now.
Okay.
But I would not put Denver in my top.
No?
Oh, no. I don't know what it was. Maybe, I don't know.
Different kind of recreational tourism, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. You're not going for the same reasons I'm
Well,
going.
why is that?
Because
You love the mountains.
the mountains. That's right. The high living. Yeah. It's very high.
Oh, jeez. See, I mean, you're close to.
Just like Trip.
Just like Trip. Oh, jeez. Well, my favorite, I think, would be, Hawaii for sure. And I love California. I want to move back to California. I miss California.
Mm.
I lived there for like almost 4 years. Well, I was born there in more central California, but then I moved back a few years ago to LA area, and I just love it. I love big cities and the rush and everything. But I didn't want to raise my kids there, so that's why we're here in Utah. Plus, I have family, and being a single mom without family around is kind of not a smart move.
It's playing it on hard mode for sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're a single dad, so if you don't have like help,
it's It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's very true. So what other costumes do you like to use?
I have Kylo Ren, Spider-Man. I have 3 or 4 different Spider-Mans. Deadpool. I'm working on Scout Trooper right now. I'm working on the and also the Mandalorian and a Stormtrooper.
Nice. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite Spider-Man?
Probably the original one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the first one is always the best. There's
Yeah.
What's your favorite Spider-Man? Do you like superhero movies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love them all.
Yeah.
I get to watch a lot of Into the Spider-Verse with my 4-year-old, so.
Right.
Yeah, that was probably my second favorite.
Like, I'll turn it on sometimes. I'm just like, let's watch Spider-Man.
Right.
And she just has to watch with me.
Right.
Maybe it was me that got her into it. I don't know.
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure that I'm guilty of that with my kids too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Those are I don't go out to movies a lot, but when we do, it's going to be a superhero movie or a Disney movie. I'm a Disney girl too, so. Or Star Wars.
You're gonna find a kids movie that you're okay with watching.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to you're going to promote that one big time with the kids.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit strategic in the way some people call it manipulation. I call it strategic. Oh boy. Well, are we at our break time?
Yeah, we should probably take a break.
All right. Well, we will be right back with more stories from Yuri. Okay.
In summer 2004, as a 4-year-old Caleb's body emerged from an overcrowded water park's pool in Utah, every mother's worst nightmare became reality for Chalese Stevens. Would healing ever begin? Without an answer, she experienced truths about deep loss and grief's throttle. By age 40, she awakened to joy and motherhood. Finding 40, available on Amazon and wherever digital copies are sold.
All right, welcome back to Coffee Talk Tuesday. My name is Chalese Stevens, and I'm here with my substitute and way better co-host, Chris Gillam. He's paying me to say that.
I'm much prettier.
he is much prettier.
Yeah.
And our amazing guest, Yuri Williams. Thank you again, Yuri, for being here.
Anytime.
So, Yuri, we were talking about all the fun adventures that you've been able to go on as superheroes. And we touched a little bit about why you were doing what you're doing. But I really want to get into your story and how you started doing that. What was like your first experiences, and then how you decided to become a nonprofit?
Right after my mom passed away, that Christmas that it was just coming up after she passed, I went and withdrew, I think, $3,000. I went and I got the money in different increments, and I put in an envelope, and I was just driving around to each homeless person that I saw on the street. And, I remember it was one guy, he must have got the $100 bill or something, because I just saw him yelling in the middle of the street, waving at me like, thank you, or whatever. And then, I was starting to do a lot of kind acts such as that. And, I would pay for I would send people money, and, I know they were hurting to pay their light bill and stuff. And it was just little different kind acts that, that I started doing. And I'm like, dang, I like this, and it just got an adrenaline rush. Like, I got to keep doing this and keep doing this. And it got to the point where, I was using my money like every 2 weeks when I got paid. And then I'm looking at my check and I'm like, damn, wait a minute. I gotta slow down here because I'm going too crazy, I'm serious. Like, I was, I had to check the account. I'm like, wait a minute, did I really spend that much? And then that's when I said, I still am to this day using some of my own money to keep the nonprofit going. But I've created this nonprofit to, see if I could possibly get grants or, people make donations, which they have been. And, and I tell people all the time, when you start a nonprofit, you think that people are going to be showering you with money to see, that you want to help. And it's not like that, and it took me a while to realize that, I got to keep doing what I'm doing, and the doors will open eventually, which they have. And I'm thankful for that, but I didn't give up at all. It's a lot of people that started nonprofits that I know have given up because it's such a headache and you're using all your own funds, and people don't have the patience or the time to do it. But, I make the time, and I'm glad I decided to go this route, and I'm just enjoy being a blessing to other people.
Yeah. So you still have another full-time job, don't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm working 40 plus hours every week, and just making the extra money so I can put in there, just in case I don't have it from the nonprofit to keep it going, And during this crisis, it's really been hard because, a lot of these businesses aren't open for the grants, applying for grants and whatnot. So it's really been hard during this pandemic.
Yeah. So what is it that you do as your full-time job?
I'm a correction officer at a mental health unit. I've been employed there for 21 years. My mom did the same thing, and she ended up becoming a probation officer.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're already helping people in a sense. So this to you is just above and beyond what you're already doing.
I guess you say extra credit, right?
Yeah, I feel you on the nonprofit side. Trying to I just put together a fundraiser for mine about a month and a half ago, and we had a decent turnout, but still you're up against a lot of odds during this time. And so, yeah, but kudos to you, because it's just perseverance and keeping going and not giving up. And I loved watching you over the last couple of years, and I've seen you grow, and you've been interviewed on some pretty cool shows, and I mean, besides ours. I mean, now you're really making it when you get on Coffee Talk Tuesday.
Yeah.
This is
right. Do I get a mug? Do I get a free mug?
You sure do.
And
okay.
I'm going to send you a mug, and I'm going to send you a book.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, I'm going to sign it and everything, so that's worth money.
You just did this for the mug, didn't you?
See, that's why I give out the mugs.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what are some of the other things that you've done? Because I've seen, I mean, since I stalk you pretty regularly on Facebook and see you, one of my favorite things that I saw was it last year? I think it was last summer, where you got a truckload of water bottles, and you were just going up and down the streets and handing out water bottles, and people were just so thrilled. I saw a couple of the people coming up, and it was so good to see that. Was that, I mean,
that was last year, and that was downtown in the homeless capital, which is Skid Row in Los Angeles. And, it's pretty hot during that time. So I said, I need to just fill up the truck with water. And, people were amazed at how much water I had back there. I didn't realize it until one of the guys, said it. And I'm like, he asked, like, can I get one or two? I'm like, man, you could get as many as you need, because I had a lot. And it's just like little simple things like that. I just try to, before I go to bed every night, my mind just wanders all day long. But before I go to bed at night, I just try to think of different things that I can do that people aren't doing to make somebody's day brighter, And I'm not one of these people that just comes out on Christmas and Thanksgiving. I mean, no disrespect to them, but I mean, every day I'm just trying to think of something that I can help somebody with. Because, one time I was driving for Lyft, and I'll never forget, a guy got in my back seat, and he said he wanted to kill himself. And I'm like, man, I'm driving, and I'm like, man, don't do that while I'm driving, don't blow your brains out. So I pulled over and I talked to him. I was able to calm him down due to working in the mental health field. And I was able to get him to get him help for his depression, what he had, and I've seen depression through working at my job, but I never knew what it was until my mom passed away. So, with him doing that, I said immediately, man, you need to go get some help. So I went and got him help. And he's actually texted me the other day and said that he's doing good. And he's always just texts and just, let me know how he's doing. And I just always have these different stories that I like to share with people to let them know that just, you never know, if I wouldn't have talked to that guy or hadn't picked that guy up, who would know? He probably wouldn't be here today,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing, like you touched on a really heavy subject, but also good that, depression, once you've experienced it, you understand it in a different way than you do if, you're just, there's a difference between being sad and then being depressed and full on depression. And I think that I don't know if it's the same for you, but definitely for me, is that I know it never really goes away, that pain, that grieving process of the loss and everything. It's always there, but doing these things help to heal it. It's not a Band-Aid. It just is giving of yourself, and that helps to heal as well, because you get something back.
Yeah, I call it a distraction, so that's what I do, is try to do this. I mean, it's a good thing. I always think about my mom, but it's times where I hear a song or something and, I think about her and I just start crying, but it's just a distraction for me to help others and do what she would want me to do. And it makes me feel better,
Yeah. That's a good distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you've moved it past a distraction, though. I think it's become a part of who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You managed to take your grief and turn it into something that's very, very helpful and very, it's a beautiful thing. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very admirable.
Thank you.
I think if more, I think I read this book once where it was talking about loss, and it was specifically talking about the loss of a child, but it was saying that there's a hole in your heart that never gets filled. But what you start to do if you're able to process it and really work through it is that you never fill that void, but you just expand as a person, and you start to touch lives and give them hope, and you become this light. And I really like that. So that's how I try to live my life. And that's why we do this on Coffee Talk Tuesdays. We want you to share your stories, because it's going to help someone else. It's going to touch someone else's life. And so, yeah.
Do you feel like your profession, working in the mental health field, that kind of helped to sort of drive you toward what you do? Because obviously with the homeless population, there's often a mental health problem, and a lot of mental health issues with the homeless, and they don't really get taken care of adequately. They just get thrown out on the street, basically.
Right.
Do you feel like where you were working kind of helped to drive you to what you do?
Yeah. I actually practice on, my kids at work, and use some of the tools or times that I've interacted with them. And, if I see this similar situation and I know, I tried this, let me try this on this individual and see if it works. And 9 times out of 10, it helps. But there are some people that are out there that really need help. And, it's nothing that I could say or do that would, help them at that time. But I'll still, try my best. If I have some food or water, I would still, give it to them and just leave it there for them,
Yeah. You're kind of the ideal person to do this, because you kind of have a toolbox of how to interact with people.
Right.
Right.
Do you ever get scared when you're like going down Skid Row and like being in that kind of a situation? I mean, are there any ever times where it was kind of a scary situation, other than the one you just told about the lift, someone trying to kill themselves?
Not really, because we're down there all the time, and these people, they know us. We build that's what I tell people. When you are trying to service the homeless community, you need to build a relationship with these individuals first. I mean, it's okay to give a sandwich and water and say goodbye, but I mean, you need to reach out as many times. If you see this individual all the time, start building a relationship with them, and then that way you can gain their trust. Nobody's going to off the first rip, say, well, what's your name? What's your story? Let me get you off the street. They're not going to believe you. Like, you have to build a relationship with people in order to gain their trust. And a lot of these people, we've been going out there for years and years. And, you know, once you start building that relationship with them, then, you know, you gain their trust and they're able to tell you different things that they wouldn't tell the average person, you know. And that's how I feel that people shouldn't just walk by these homeless people. You know, there are some people that used to be doctors and any type of profession you could think of that are homeless, and they didn't just happen to become homeless because they're on drugs or alcohol. You know, just like I lost my mom. You know, I've seen what it does to people. I had a friend that I went to high school with, star athlete. He lost his sister, and then after his sister passed away, he lost his mind, and you know, he ended up in going to jail, a mental institution, and whatnot. And I mean, this guy was probably be the next Jerry Rice, but his sister passing away, you know, turned his mind inside out. You know, it's sad, but it is what it is. You know, and he's still to this day, he's a good guy, and he's recovered. He's starting to, you know, come back from that.
That's great.
How long would you say that took him?
There's a documentary on him. I would say, man, that was a while ago that documentary came out, and he's just got out not too long ago. But I've seen pictures of his mom. I talked to his mom through Facebook, and he looks good, you know, compared to when I saw him on the street and I fed him, and I didn't know it was him until I saw the documentary, and it just ripped me up, you know, because I used to go to school with this guy, and like I said, he would have been the next Jerry Rice had not this, you know, situation happened with his sister, I believe, you know.
Right. Yeah, I think that when people lose somebody that's close to them, if you don't have the tools to, well, and even then, even if you have a lot of tools, sometimes you just forget, because when loss happens, like it just, like you basically start over. And that's what I said when I lost my son. I felt like I was a little girl again, and I was literally being fed for a while because I wouldn't eat. And so you just forget things. And then if you don't have those people around you to hold you up and lift you up and be there for you, then you fall apart. I mean, you're going to fall apart anyway, but it's always good to have somebody and know that there's that support. So building those relationships are absolutely important. And I mean, nobody's going to recover until they're ready, and it's all an individual basis. But at the same time, knowing that you're there might give them that piece of hope, which is really cool.
Right. Well, on that note,
we
that
hit
time.
our mark, yeah. Well, Yuri, I absolutely adore you, and I love that you were willing to be on our show. I'm going to send you a book and a mug. So you gave me your address, so I'm on it.
All
now
right.
I just have to make the time to go to the post office.
She's gonna send you 2 mugs.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, Yuri, what is the name of your foundation, and how can people get a hold of you if they want to make donations for you?
The website is www.afuturesuperhero.org or .com. On Instagram, A Future Superhero. Twitter, A Future Superhero. Facebook, Yuri Williams. And I tell people all the time, before you decide to make a donation or purchase something from our wish list, please check out our videos and stories and just see what we're about. Like, I just want people to trust and know that their funds are being used properly to help the homeless, elderly, veterans, children, and just people in need. You know, I just don't want you to throw your money out there and say and hope that I'm doing, you know, what I'm say I'm doing, and I actually am. But I just want to let people see before you make the donation what we're doing with your money, so you can see it's worthwhile and we're helping bring humanity back.
Well, I love it, and I vouch for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one, guys.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you, Yuri.
Bye-bye.